These are 14 lessons I wish I had known when I was a teenager. And before you click away, this is not the normal motivational video you would see. These lessons were paid in full with either money, time, energy, and even tears. I spent so much, and I'm glad to be able to understand these lessons, but I wouldn't wish for someone to go through the whole experience again. So if you're young and you're really intentional about not making your own mistakes and learning from other people, this is the right video for you. 14 lessons I wish I had known when I was a teenager. So hang on tight, let's get rolling. The first one being, it is better to be rich than to look rich. So when I was starting out, when I started my journey in the online space, you know, this hype of, especially in Nigeria, whenever they see you doing something or posting about a particular business, they just assume that you're rich already. So that pressure, that expectation, I started noticing it from the people who addressed me, my peers and everything. And of course, you now had to start putting up a facade in order to meet up to their expectations. I was shooting myself in the leg, and that was one of the very dangerous mistakes I had made, because I was now moving away from being my true self. Before I made a post, before I appeared outside, before I did anything, I always asked myself, how would they see it? All right, is it aligning with the story, the false story that I was telling myself? So this comes in two parts. This one is just the first part. The second part is, as a teenager, the urge to show off is always there, and you should not kick it off when you feel it. It is normal. That's where we human beings are. The urge to show that, see, I've made it, see, I'm already seeing some things. You want to get a new shoe, you want to get a wristwatch. The downside to this is when you're creating a lifestyle that you cannot maintain. The main thing is maintaining the lifestyle. So why go and hang your coat there when you cannot keep it there for a long time? Okay, so don't go and start purchasing big cars, don't go and start purchasing wristwatches, shoes that you will not be needing now. This is your foundation stage. So instead of focusing on looking rich, why not focus on building your wealth? Because you're paying attention to how other people perceive you, and whether you like it or not, can only focus on one thing at a time. Give it your maximum attention. So what if you're focusing on looking rich, you're going to definitely miss the road of actually being rich. So don't fall into that trap of trying to impress everybody. Whether you're a teenager or you're in your early 20s, in the world we are in right now, no matter how much you try to show other people that you have money, you're still not going to get the amount of respect they give someone in his 30s or in his 40s that have made money. It's a general assumption that as a teenager, when you make money, they just believe that, oh, it's his father's money, oh, it's her father's money, oh, they just had a big breakout in Forex. They won't understand the toil. You know, they won't understand that you have actually worked for this. So why bother trying to change what has already been established? So focus on being rich. Focus on whatever it is that have made you your first 100,000 naira, your first 1 million, whatever. Focus on doubling down on it. Okay, retweak. Make sure you're paying your whole attention to doubling down and getting more results. When you're actually rich, you look the path automatically. You don't even force it. But then when you're not rich, you still force the path. You still force the thing of looking rich. The second lesson I learned the hard way. This is a very, very painful one. When I learned this lesson, it really hits me hard because I was really embarrassed. Don't blow your trumpets. I'm that kind of person that whenever I achieve something, I always want someone to know. You understand? I want, okay, I just made my first 100K. Oh my God, I need someone to know it, to celebrate with me, not to show off per se. But then it got, I think I took it overboard because, okay, so I was at this networking event and I met this guy. So we were discussing, we just exchanged pleasantries, and while we were discussing, of course, I'd moved into the part of talking about what I've done. And I was saying it from a point of, I want him to admire what I've done and praise me or something, and like, oh, this guy is really working hard, whatever. So that was what I was doing. That was the aim of the talk and the blowing my trumpet, only for me to be done with what I'm saying. I'm like, oh, what do you do? And in just 3 sentences, he shut me up. Just told me that he makes, I can't remember the exact sentences, but he makes over 100 million naira in revenue per year. And mind you, at that time, I hadn't even seen 500,000 naira in my account. So that really shut me up because I was always in that, you know, when you work so hard and when you do your little achievements or whatever, you're stuck in your head. You're not stuck in your head per se, but then you're living in your own world because you feel like nobody around you has done this. So you now feel big, you know. But after he did this, as he stepped away, someone else walked up to me. I was like, do you know this guy? This is so and so person. In that moment, I felt dread, I felt shame, and then I felt motivation actually. I was like, this is not the way I want to be introduced. Like, as he just told me, do you know this person? At that instant, I noticed that this is exactly the way I want to be introduced. I want other people to introduce me. I want other people to blow my trumpets for me, not the other way around. So from that day, I made it intentional not to talk more about myself. Always give the other person the opportunity opportunity to talk, try and listen more than you talk. I guess that's the second lesson. Listen more than you talk. Okay. And how can you get other people to blow your trumpets for you? Of course, you put in the work. Do what is actually needed to be done. Your results will be so evident that people can't look away from it. Okay. So stop focusing on announcing. Focus on executing. The third lesson I learned was focus on one thing while starting. Now, while I started out, this cuts across both business, personal life, personal development. The downside of focusing on multiple things while starting is you lose track of progress. You don't get immediate feedback in real time. Okay. When you're starting out a business, when you're starting out a skill, when you want to learn something, focus on starting with one thing. Don't be carried away with leaving money on the table or multiple streams of income. That was what was in my head when I started out with Amazon KDP, Canva. I was selling Canva Pro subscriptions. I was designing flyers. I was into a lot of things. The story I was telling myself was multiple streams of income. At some point, I even wanted to start real estate while juggling graphic design. So what this did for me was it wasted the first 3 years of my journey, all right? And that's not what I want for anybody. So you know the story of multiple streams of income, build multiple streams of income. A lot of people talk about that, and probably in another video I'll break down the kinds of income we have. We have active income, passive income, and residual income. Active income is what you're doing actively to make money. That requires both your time. Remember, we have 4 currencies. That requires both your time, your attention, your energy, and probably your money too. Okay, that is what you're spending time being present in. So that's your active income, like going to work, editing videos, designing flyers, writing copies. That's your active income. Your passive income now, you know what most people think it to be. Passive income, you need to be there at the start of passive income. It doesn't just start spitting out money for you. Passive income now is there. It just requires little of your time or your presence or your attention. It just demands very, very little, minute amounts of your 4 currencies. It could be just your time, it could just be your money, it could just be your attention, it could just be your energy. Okay, if it's something that other people do the whole month, you're just doing it once in a month. That's probably you've built a business, you've established a business. You just go in once or you just check it once or twice. Probably is the selling of land, that like probably in real estate, if it's real estate now that you choose to make your passive income from. All you're just doing is you're buying land. With one phone call, you've bought land, another phone call, you sold it, probably 2 years later or 3 years. Now, this requires still your time and your attention, but then you're not putting in so much, you're not investing so much. Okay, so forget that thing that they tell you passive income is you're now in your house, it's now coming out. Yes, there's a kind of income like that, and that's residual income. So if you really want to build wealth, you actually build wealth with residual income, right? Residual income is now when your money works for you. It doesn't require your time. Residual income is now making money over and over and over and over again, whether you're there or not. This could be by investing in residential houses, investing in a company, buying shares. Like, these are now residual income where you don't need to be present at all again. Okay, so that's when you're starting out, you have to build a value ladder, a value chain. Most people don't know what a value chain is. A value chain is basically this thing I'm doing now. What's the highest amount of money I can make from this thing, and how is that possible? So if you're doing video editing now, you say, okay, what's the highest money I can make from video editing? Probably you own an agency. Okay, if you're a banker, you say, what's the highest money I can make from banking? Where does this lead? Those that are top players in this industry, what exactly are they doing to make the much money that they are making? That is the value chain. Okay, so you have to study the value chain of what you're doing. When you study this value chain, you can now decide, do I want to do this or do I want to do that one? Most people make their decisions by how fast they can get to the top of the ladder. So if it's video editing, it could take you like 2 years to practice very well and do everything. If it's banking, it could take like 4 years. You now make conscious decisions based on what you have studied. You're not just doing it because they're telling you this is paying very well. All right, so focus on one thing. It doesn't only apply to selecting a business or selecting a skill to start. When you want to work out, what exactly are you working out on? Is it your biceps? Is it your abs? What exactly are you working out on? Focus on one thing. The beautiful thing about executing is when you calm down, you can actually do 3 different things, but then they have an underlying factor. They have an underlying factor. I heard one of my mentors said he was talking to a lady, and she was like, she's a mom and she wants to start real estate. How can she balance the both of them? That is hard. He was not like, how about you become the stay-at-home mom that talks about real estate, that teaches other stay-at-home moms real estate? Did you see how he linked the 2 things? So there are some things that if you calm down and actually observe, you can find an underlying factor that you can do 2 things, but then they are still related. You're not doing 2 different things at all. The basic lesson is start with one thing at a time so that you can get immediate feedback and progress faster. Number 4 is do not be part of the masses. First of all, who are the masses? The masses are like NPCs. They are just there just to be there. They are just there to occupy space. They are just there to occupy time. They just do whatever it is the society tells them to do. You know, these are people that when you ask them what's your goal for life, they'll be like, anything that comes, we'll just take it. They don't make good decisions on their own. They make decisions based on what other people have told them or what the society has told them. These are people that keep on blaming the government for their bad situations. Now, I learned not to be part of this book because after studying rich people, I understood that most of them, they did things that the ordinary person wouldn't do. Now, the ordinary person is someone that is in the masses, all right? They made decisions based on their own philosophy, what they believe in, okay? So when I say don't be part of the masses, don't be part of the people that when they put out an idea, you just buy it immediately without filtering it, observing it, taking a close look and selecting the one you want to believe or the one you don't want to believe. The masses are those that watch reality TV shows, invest so much of their time, their money and everything, and they get nothing in return, but they are still happy. These are the masses, okay? Don't be part of people that just go on social media and keep on ranting, expecting that the government will change or there will be a big change, a revolutionary change that will happen because of their rant. No, you have to understand that when you start paving your own path to become someone that is not part of the masses, you will be alone. You will do things that is not normal to other people. And I want you to understand that it is normal, all right? It is normal to get that reaction when people see you do things in order to become the person you want to become. It is normal. They are the masses. They are going to tell you it's abnormal because it doesn't correlate with what they believe. It doesn't correlate with their desires, their dreams, with the plans, where they see themselves. You're going way higher. All right, so don't be part of the masses. I want you to pave your own path right now and understand that it's going to be a lonely road, but along the line you will see people that are like you and you merge with them and of course make reasonable progress from there. The fifth lesson is quite funny but really important. Your wife will not be the prettiest lady you see. Your girlfriend will not be the prettiest lady you see. I learned this after studying successful marriages. You see all these big people. Billionaire once said that one of the most important decisions you make in your life is the spouse you marry, because it can make you or break you. As a young boy, we are being carried away by the prettiest girl in the room, the prettiest girl in the class. Everybody wants to be her friend. Everybody wants to date her. Growing up, you understand that this is not what determines if you should get in a relationship with this person or get into marriage with this person. Marriage is more serious and is deeper than just a pretty face. I see most people when they say, who's your dream wife? They'll be like, she must be fine, she must have the curves, she must have a good shape and everything. No, more things are involved when you're making a big decision like this. Just know that getting a relationship is really a pretty tough decision and a very deep one too. All right, don't believe what social media tells you that you just get into one and get out. No. I want you to build yourself to become the kind of person that matches the standard of the dream person you have in your life. Okay, there are deeper things like character, integrity, your way of life, your beliefs, your mindset. All these things count. And if you really want to get someone that will really help you to become the best person, the best version of yourself, you have to start with building yourself. You have to start with having your own standards. Most of you don't even have standards. Anything comes, anything goes. No, you should have the kind of person you want to date. You should have the kind of person you want to marry. Like you have it in your head, the mental picture, so that you start building yourself to match that person. Girls, the guy you see today is not the finest guy. He's not the best person for you. Don't fall into that trap. Same thing with guys. Okay, you're going to still see way prettier people today, tomorrow, even after you've married, 10 years after you've married. If you keep on making decisions by these ephemeral things like looks and shape, you're heading down the wrong path. So build yourself to be a high value woman, a high value man. The sixth lesson is success doesn't happen overnight. This is going to be a very hard one to swallow because what the social media is showing you online is very different from what actually happens offline. You just see the 30-second reel or the 1-minute reel and you feel like life happens in a minute. Probably they show you before and after. It all happens in a video, but in real life, it takes years. It doesn't take a minute. What happens in that transition from the poor boy to the rich guy that now drives cars, that now lives in expensive apartments, that single transition is spread out to be years of dedication and hard work. So don't be carried away. Even the way you watch it in movies, the movies where you see the character is very poor or has failed and has done everything and then transformation now happens. Those movies are less than 2 hours, less than 3 hours. But in real life, it is actually as long as 4 years, 5 years. So I want you to understand this and put your mind to it. Expect the hard circumstances, expect the difficulty, expect the sleepless nights, expect the headaches, expect the heartbreaks, expect the tears. These are what will build you to become the person that is worthy of attaining such amount of wealth. Okay, so success does not happen overnight, and this doesn't only apply to money or business. It applies to workout. It applies to learning a new habit. It applies to changing your mindset. All these are not, whatever it is you tag as success doesn't happen overnight. It comes with a series of dedication, discipline, okay, intentionality. You're serious about getting this result, and you're not focused on the result. Actually, if you're focused on the result, this is what happens. You actually get there slower. I'll tell you this story. A beginner asked a grand samurai, how long will it take me to become like you? And the samurai said 10 years. So the beginner, I was now excited. I was like, okay, what if I put in twice the amount of work, twice the amount of time? How long will it take me? The samurai smiled and said 20 years. He was like, how? He said, when you're more focused on the results than the journey, you divide your attention. Hence, it will take you twice the amount of time it would have taken when you were just focused on the journey, when you were just focused on the process. And that hits me hard. When you want to attain success at something, if you're so focused on the results than the process, it takes you a longer time to get there. So why not just focus on the process? You eventually get to the destination. The seventh lesson is wealth is not for a certain kind of people. While growing up, we had those children that were the rich kids in class, you know, those ones that came with cars to school, those ones that came with lunch, those ones that came with packaged lunch from probably an eatery or a restaurant. And growing up in that kind of environment, I believed that the only way you can be rich is if you come from a rich family. No, that's wrong. And when my situation was really bad, I believed that I was poor. I believed that my family was poor, but I didn't just stop there. I also believed that there was nothing we could do about it. We didn't have rich uncles that would just come and pick you up from the dust and, you know, help your life. So believing that I was poor and also believing that there was nothing that can be done about it rendered me hopeless once I had my aha moment. So I'm talking to you right now that is watching this video and you believe that there's nothing that can be done, that wealth is only for a certain class of people. Yes, wealth is actually for a certain class of people, and you can build yourself to enter that certain class. So it is not written that it is only this family that will be rich in their lifetime. No, you can break your way into that class. You can walk your way into that class. Quite all right, where you are right now is not the best of places. You're not eating properly. You have an empty bank account, or your bank account is always hitting zero every now and then. It is something that can be changed. And I want you to believe that, first of all, before you now put in any work to change it. I want you to believe that where you are right now is not your final destination. You can walk yourself up to the top. Okay? You don't need connections. You don't need to be born into a rich family. You don't need to be born with a silver spoon in order to make wealth. All these rich people that you see, most of them, majority of them, I've studied them, they didn't come from an affluent family. Most of them came from broke families. Most of them had tough beginnings, tough starts. It has not been written that wealth is for a certain kind of people, and you can never be part of those people. You can always work your way into their classes, into their categories, and make a name for both yourself and your family. The eighth lesson I learned, your value isn't tied to your bank account. What do I mean by that? The amount of money I had in my account in a day determined how happy or how confident I will be that day. And that was a very bad thing, because when you hear people talk about big sums, you shy away from that conversation without knowing that when you get yourself more involved in such conversations, you're wising up. When you listen to rich people talk, when you're in the company of rich people, you definitely learn something. You contact a certain kind of energy that you of course love. But because I attached my value to the amount of money I had in my account, whenever I see a rich person, I feel threatened. I feel like this person knows more than me already. This person is better than me in every ramification. You don't tie yourself to money. Money is the least thing that you should tie your value to. What really makes you who you really are, your beliefs, what you like, the kind of hobby you enjoy doing, the kind of food you like eating, the kind of music you listen to, the kind of people you like vibing with. There are lots of things that make you who you really are, not money. I really fell for this when I started out. The kind of business I moved into always required that you just sell the course to the next person. When you buy a course, normal thing to do is to go through the course to learn what you purchased. But then, because of the spirit of making money, when you buy the course, you get it, sell it to the next person that is ready to buy, and that's the way that chain went. So I breached a lot of valuable relationships that could have been built. I value transaction over relationship. But that's what comes when you have that mindset of you attach your value to money. So you're now in that desperation. You're now in that rat race of you want to make money, you want to make more money, you want to make more money. It's not that. What breaks you into the classes of wealthy people is your mindset, the way you think, your integrity. This is something that will take you farther in life than whatever it is money will do for you. Focus on building these intrinsic values. The money would always come. I've seen a lot of rich, arrogant people, and I've also seen a lot of rich, very, very extremely nice people. The amount of money you have in your account shouldn't dictate how confident or how happy you are, because money can buy happiness, but money cannot maintain happiness. The ninth lesson I learned is avoid spending to impress friends. I would rephrase that lesson to be learn to say no. When I start making money from my online space, of course, your friends would see it because of the posts you make or the kind of lifestyle you're now living that's upgraded a little bit. I felt that I owed them money or something like that. Like, you just believe that because you have it, you should give it to them when they ask. And that really hurt me because I lost a lot of friends, and I'm really happy I lost them because they were the ephemeral friends, those that were there just for the money. So you see someone moving into your DM and they are telling you, oh my God, I need so amount of money. Sometimes I really didn't have it. So when I tell them, oh, I don't have it right now, they're like, are you serious? Guy, I really need this money. You can't do this to me at this point in time. I really need your help and something. Like, I really don't have the money. I was put into that tight corner a lot of times when you say no to a friend and then they leave you. So I felt like I was losing a lot of friends. Once I heard from someone that your real friends will never get angry with you for saying no to them. They don't want to put you in a tight corner. Your real friends will not even want to ask you the questions that will put you in a tight corner. So one thing you need to learn is when you start making money, it doesn't mean you should give everybody money. If you have it and you don't want to give it, you say no. You own the money. You worked for it. You didn't do it for them. So learn the art of saying no. Not only when people ask you for money or whatever, even when people ask you to do things that don't sit well with you. Don't say, oh, he's my best friend. You have what you believe in. You have your values. Learn to say no, to protect these values, to protect these beliefs. That is what really makes you who you really are. If you stand for everything, you actually stand for nothing. So you should have your personal values. You should have things that you believe in, things that nobody can sway you from, okay? So when you start making money, you don't owe anybody a dime. You can say no whenever you feel like it. Don't put that pressure on yourself. The 10th lesson I learned was a pretty hard one to learn because I was so stubborn enough not to pick up that lesson early. And that is, don't expect to be praised when you help someone. When you start seeing certain amount of money, or you help someone book a deal, you help someone get a valuable connection, whatever, and you're expecting something in return. That was me. I always expected that, oh, there's a certain, you should tell me thank you. Your voice tone should be inflected when you say that thank you. Don't just say it like it was normal. Do you know what I went through to get you that deal? Do you know what I went through to get you that connection? You should shout thank you. You should say thank you. Don't shout it, but just your voice should not be too loud. I'm just joking around. One thing that really helped me stop expecting praises from people when I help them, or you're not even literally helping them, when you're supporting them, because I start seeing myself as a vessel. I'm just a channel for God's blessing to these people. And if I mess up, or if I feel like I deserve some kind of praise or glory, He could just change me and use another person to do that same thing He wants in their life. So why bother? Why expect things from them? You should build yourself to become the person that derives joy in actually doing good for people, not the person that wants to do something for someone and you put up a camera for the world to see it. Yes, you could make videos of where you're helping people and whatever, but then it all falls back to your motive for that. Are you doing it to inspire other people to do what you're doing, or are you doing to show the world, hey, look at what I'm doing? Don't expect anything in return. It's a really tough place to be in, but then it's the right thing to do. And the right thing to do is not always the easiest thing to do. Render your help to people and don't expect anything in return. Don't help this person so that when they blow, they'll pay you back. No, help the person genuinely to help the person because you can do it. Okay, now don't go and start looking around for people that you can help, because honestly it's really hard to actually bring someone under your wings or to render help to people, because there's some people that can even deny you in public or deny you in later in future. Now if you were expecting something from me, that's where to hurt you, okay? But if you weren't, you will not be surprised. So what less expectations or no expectations at all does for you is you have less headache. I tell you, I had a lot of headache when I was going through this series of expecting. When it becomes worse is when you're now asking for something too. So like, but I just did this for you. Why are you not helping me back? I helped you do this. You start recounting everything you've done for the person. That's not really nice to do, okay? If you've done something out of your goodwill and you expected nothing, if you ask for something on your own side and you get a no, be cool with it, okay? Be chill with it. Start seeing yourself more as a vessel for God, as a channel for God's flow of blessings, for God's flow of abundance to people around you. The 11th lesson I learned: your family is not your enemy. They are the last people you want to fight with. I actually got into a lot of fights, family feuds with my people when I started out in the online space, because there was lack of understanding. And I want you to expect that. When you're starting, you'll be getting comments like, it's the only phone you're pressing every day you're on laptop, every time your face is on your phone. What are you doing even? What exactly are you doing? You'll be getting this kind of reactions and comments which might weigh you down or even get you angry like it did for me. But then the way to solve it is not to attack it, is to receive it and then find a better way to respond to it. When you don't understand that this way people are, the environment we grew up in didn't make money by pressing their phones, didn't make money by using their laptops. So when they see someone else doing, they feel like, okay, you're doing something else that is not beneficial. So expect that resistance, expect those rough times where there's lack of understanding, they don't understand what you're doing, so they shout and whatever. It is normal. Don't get angry with it. What even solved my own was my sister helped me do this self by having meaningful conversations that explain or try to explain what it is you're really doing. Now, they might not totally understand it, but bringing out the time to show them that, okay, I'm not actually playing. This is what I'm doing. Just bringing out that time and having that conversation. It could take like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and to save you that whole fiasco. Another thing that might happen is expectations even rise. So when they start seeing your videos on Facebook, start seeing your ads, start seeing your status updates, start seeing some changes, they start expecting a lot from you. And you should expect that too. You can explain to them that, see, it's not what it looks like. This thing, I'm starting it, I'm building it. It's just a little money. I'm still seeing little money from it, or no money at all. So don't make your family your enemy. There are sometimes I went days without talking with them. It didn't serve me. It really sapped my energy. They are the people that mean the most to you. They are the reason you're even doing what you're doing. So they are the last people you want to get in a fight with. The 12th lesson I learned, another hard nut to crack. But then, hustling 24/7 won't make you rich. Staying up at night to work all night won't make you rich. When you move into the online space, one of the very popular things you would hear is, if you sleep more than 6 hours in a day, you're going to be broke. And I borrowed that idea without actually weighing it and finding how it suits my own situation. And I fell into that trap of, you must always be awake in the night so that you can make money. And then I saw myself being awake but not knowing what to do while I was awake. All right. So it all falls back to your intentionality. What exactly are you doing? Are you staying awake without doing anything meaningful? There are some days where you have to stay up late. There are some days you should get yourself some sleep. Sleep is important. There are some people that they can't focus well if they don't get enough sleep. So don't buy this BS that you must sleep 3 hours a day. Everything happens in seasons. There are some seasons that require you to sleep 3 hours a day or 4 hours a night. That is the season you're in. You're building something actively, and you know the reason you're doing this. You should not choose to stay awake at night in order to be rich. Your reason to stay awake at night should be to accomplish a task. So you're intentional. You know why you're staying awake. Don't do things because that's what is the popular thing on social media. What is popular on social media might not apply to your life, will not even apply to your life. So find what works for you. Are you the day worker? Are you the night worker? Don't be the person that wants to stay up at night and then you while your whole day doing nothing so that you can stay up at night. If you have the full day to work fully during the day and get enough night's rest. The main thing is you accomplish the goals you set for yourself, the tasks you set for yourself, and move on to the next. Success means nothing without health. I was even that kind of person that was so all in my business. Okay, I was like, my business or nothing. So I removed working out, I removed my quiet time. I was so laser focused on my business, and that's not actually a very healthy thing to do. Give yourself short breaks, work out, watch a movie, do anything, but then let it not be too much. Let there be a balance, strike a balance. Again, it depends on the season you're in. There are some seasons that won't even require that balance. There are some seasons that you can go days without watching a movie. You can go days without seeing anybody because you're so focused on building this thing. That is the season. But don't think that is a lifestyle. It shouldn't be a lifestyle, okay? The 13th lesson I learned, success is communal. In my Igbo culture, they say it as Onya and Awania. When I was starting out, I wanted to be the most successful person in the house. But then when you go with that mindset, solely with that mindset, it can become dangerous at some point because other people's success or other people's progress now seems like a threat to you. And trust me, you don't want to be in that boat. I got to a point where whenever I see someone else succeeding, most of my friends that I thought were unserious, when I see them getting little progress, I felt threatened. I felt like, oh, no, I'm the only one that's working this hard. I'm the only one that's doing this. I'm the only one that should get the results I'm getting now. No, success is communal. I came to learn that it's impact over income. The amount of people you're going to affect with your life, your experience, your money, whatever it is, people you're going to motivate is more important than the amount of money you're going to make. You can always make a lot of money, but you cannot always impact a lot of people. Don't be lost in that thought of you're the special child. Yes, quite all right, you can be the special person in your generation, but it doesn't mean that you're the special person that should survive and be the only person that's at the top. No, what actually makes you a special child is when you're able to bring others to the top with you. Just make sure you're helping other people become better versions of themselves. Don't go and start looking for who you will help. Who you help will come to you. You know that this is the right person to help when that person meets you. The last lesson, profound one, and it's one of the best lessons I've learned because it saved me tons of time. Even though I wasted time, I was stubborn again to learn it and pick up the lesson. But after learning it, it saved me tons of time and a lot of money. And I was able to move faster in my own line of work. And that's the Bible is the ultimate guide. When I started out, I used to see the Bible as for religion, as the book for religion, the book that is only meant to be read in church. Business is business, you know. When we come to business, there are things you should do. Get on the call, be confident, say this, say that, you make a sale. I thought that that's the way life was, religion and business. But then when you come to understand that God is universal and he applies to every single thing, you're not just here to become rich, you're here to make impact. And all glory will go to the person that puts you here with that assignment. So you have to understand your assignment. Stop seeing the Bible as a religious book that is just filled with old stories. The Bible is actually filled with a lot of wealth principles, and I've not even exhausted it. It's not even something you can exhaust in a lifetime. You keep on learning every single day, okay? So if you want to actually be wealthy, which is what I always preach here as a young person, prioritize studying the Bible. Don't read the Bible so that when they ask you to read the Bible today, you say yes confidently. Read the Bible because you want to develop yourself, because you want to understand something, because you want to seek the truth, because you want to know the truth and understand the truth. That is your reason to be reading the Bible. When you're at your lowest lows, when at your highest high, you should always have something that puts you in place. For me, is God. For me, is the Bible. For me, is close people that have known me very well, that are not carried away with the results. I want you to study the Bible like a financial book. Study it like a financial book, and I promise you're not going to remain the same. It's the best out of most of the books I've read. That's my final lesson there, and I believe that you have picked up a whole lot from this video. Now, I get a lot of DMs from people and messages telling me, I've watched your video, now I know what to do, but then I don't know where to start. I don't know the right skill to learn. I don't know the right business to start with. I'm confused. I've made a full 30-minute video where I explain how you can make 50,000 naira per week with this simple digital skill. Once you learn and master this skill, you can make guaranteed 50,000 naira per week and now scale it up from there. I'll link the video in the description below. So once you're done with this video, move over to that one, watch it and take action immediately. Don't wait. Take immediate action. It's more about execution this time. You've gotten the information. You're now aware. Now the next thing to do is action. If you really learned something from this video, hit the like button. And if you want to be notified when I upload the next video, hit the subscribe button. Of course, you can share this video with someone that you really want to listen and learn these lessons. Phew, that was a very intense one. I would leave you with this. The wisest person in the room is not the person that has 14 years experience. It's the person that is willing to learn from those 14 years experience without actually experiencing it. And as usual, where you are right now is not your final destination. I'll see you at the top.